Welcome to the One Up Sales Development Podcast, a podcast for new and emerging revenue leaders, whether you're in sales, marketing, or customer success. We're here for one thing and one thing only, to drive revenue. This one goes out to all the hustlers out there on the phones, each and every day, slugging it out. Whether you're adding net new logos, expanding revenue from your sales base, or renewing existing accounts, it's all about working as one cohesive team towards one cohesive goal.
Cross-functional sales team.
So if you're new and you want to be a top funnel sales dev strategist, then you better put in the work and act like one. Digital marketing, act like one. Customer success, act like one. To be the bro, act the role. I'm your host, Jackson Lill, a top funnel revenue growth leader and an everyday frontline practitioner. This podcast is brought to you by the SDU community, Sales Dev Unite.
SDRs Unite.
Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show. Go. Yep. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shawn, welcome to the One Up Sales Development Podcast.
Jackson, thank you for having me.
Oh my God, Shawn Finder, founder, creator of Autoklose.
Yeah.
Recently acquired by VanillaSoft. Is that you?
That is me. Yeah, we were just acquired October 2020, so not too long ago.
This is amazing. It's amazing. Shawn, just throw it out there. You know, I've been chasing you for about a good year now, right? Year and a half. I'm not sure you realize that.
Yeah, persistent came through, though. Your persistent came through, Jackson.
Thank you. And this is my time over at 10 Bound. I was like, you know, you'd be a good person to maybe be a sponsor at a time. So I created a SDR-TV full walkthrough of your product. And when I reached out, it's like, bam. And then you got acquired. Bam. I was like, okay, I gotta get him on a podcast because this is revenue podcast now. So congratulations. Welcome to coming on the show. We truly appreciate you, man. This is exciting.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Shawn, so for our listeners today, why don't you go ahead and just give us a brief background about, who you are and what do you currently do?
Okay, so my name's Shawn Finder. Was the founder of Autoklose and Exchange Leads, which were both acquired in October 2020. But before my entrepreneurial days, I have an interesting story. I actually was a professional tennis player. So I played a little bit on the ATP tour, played college tennis, and was world ranked before I started my first company. It's got to be about 8 years ago now, but so back in the day, did my MBA in finance, went from finance into a sales role, came up with the idea of Exchange Leads, built that company up, parlayed that into Autoklose in 2017, and was acquired in 2020.
Okay, hold on. What is Exchange Lead?
Okay. So Exchange Leads was similar to the old Jigsaw, which was acquired by Salesforce and changed to data.com. So Exchange Leads was a data platform that professionals can go in, they can upload their own data, build credits, and download new data. So basically what we did was we provided you high quality data for your prospecting, but it was all in a software as a service model.
Like lead enrichment, is that what we're hearing?
Yeah, so it's kind of like lead enrichment, but it was basically you wanted 10,000 prospects to cold email to come to this podcast. We sold that data, and we had a subscription model where every month you get a certain amount of contacts that you can contact inside the Exchange Leads platform.
Got it. And it's still well done live today, right?
Yeah, so Exchange Leads, well, it parlayed into Autoklose. So what we did after that was we built the platform Autoklose, which was like, we had a lot of clients coming in. They loved Exchange. And like, well, we love your data, but like, we have to now go somewhere to email that data. And I'm like, there we go. Let me start a company that actually allows you to email the data. So Autoklose takes the data and allows you to upload it in. And then we allow you to send out email campaigns from directly in the platform. So we parlayed both businesses into one.
Nice. Congratulations. So success breeds success, right? You create out lead enrichment software, and then it comes out, and then they're like, hey, how do we reach out to them? I got you. And that's how Autoklose was born. Wow, long behold.
Yeah. So it was just kind of, what is the next step? How can we not have our clients go to another SaaS company, but do it all under one umbrella? So we kept building everything under one umbrella so they didn't have to leave Autoklose.
Got it. Got it. Amazing. Amazing. Sean, how did you, we want to get you to know you a little bit better on a personal level.
Yeah.
Are you, in Canada, Canadian, born and raised?
Oh,
Or
great question. I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
38 years old, turning 39 soon. So I'm heading up to 40 in about a year and a month. So in 3 weeks will be my 39th birthday.
Yeah.
Born and raised in Toronto, Canada. 4 brothers in my family, 4 boys in my family, and been living here my entire life. Did my MBA out in Hamilton. So was kind of a finance major before I became an entrepreneur. And then went from there and started my first business, as I mentioned, and then grew that business. And then Autoklose was the second venture.
Nice. Okay. So born and raised, Canada, wants to go. I'm finance major. How did you get into tech? What sparked you for Exchange Lead? Because you were in school, you're finance major. Most people would oftentimes work for a bank, right? But you took a horizontal jump. How did someone help you out where you were exposed to the tech game, or what's that story there?
That's a great question. It's almost like my story by the way you were saying that. So funny enough, I actually did work for the bank. So I was actually working for the bank for my MBA. Yeah. And then what happened? I mean, it's almost like my story. I went in for an interview for another bank job.
Yeah.
And the guy that was recruiting, he goes, listen, you should be in sales. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I've done some sales, but you should be in sales. I'm like, sure. I have an MBA in finance, but sure. So he ends up introducing me to it was an email archiving company. And he goes, I want you to run my whole sales team. I want you to be director of sales. I'm like, well, I've never been an SDR or an AE. Like, I've never done that. Just go right to director of sales, manage the team and do it. I'm like, okay. So what happened was I ended up taking that position because the pay was great. And I was like, well, I can get out of finance. I'm an extrovert. So I'm outgoing a little bit. Finance was a little bit more introvert. And then what happened was my first day on the job, we acquired a list and wired a company money. And the list just had terrible emails, terrible phone numbers, and everything. I go for lunch on day 2 and I say to the guy that's the CTO of the company, I'm like, I mean, I should just start a company that provides high quality data and not volume data. He's like, well, we can. And I was like, okay. He's like, I have some people in Eastern Europe. Let's talk about it. And what happened was I ended up talking to him about it. And just say about 3 weeks later, after I started my new role, me and the CTO went partners on a side business that ended up turning into Exchange Leads.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Okay. So what we're hearing is you were at a bank, right?
Yep.
Finance, you're working on your MBA, and then some guys like, hey man, you're you know what, Sean, you're pretty talkative. You're sitting behind a desk, and I'm sure you're not getting commission for what you do. You should be in sales. Is that pretty much what happened? He's, hey, why don't you just come in and be the director? Okay.
Yeah, he was just like, come be the business development director and run my sales team. And he was a big guy at Microsoft, but was an investor in the company, flew in from New York, interviewed me within half an hour. And I asked him for $20,000 more than I was making. Yeah. And he said, no problem. I'm like, well, I'm in, give it to me.
Oh, hold on. Okay. Was he like a client of yours that you were working on his account or something? How did you guys cross paths there?
Just from the recruiter. The recruiter was one of the recruiter's clients who was looking for a director of sales. Yeah. And he looked at me and goes, I know you have no no real sales experience. I've had sales experience. I work retail a bit, but he's like, just interview for it. And when I interviewed for it, right on the spot, the guy offered me the job.
Oh, wow. Okay. And was that EP, Enterprise Prospecting, or is that something else I'm on here? I'm just.
Oh no, that was it was a company called Jaytheon out of Toronto. So it was a company, an email archiving company out of Toronto, but the board of directors and everyone was out of New York.
Got it. Okay, that totally makes sense. What I really love about that when interviewing a lot of entrepreneurs who did come on a One Up Sales Development podcast is they oftentimes cross paths on accident for something that they
Yeah.
found like, holy crap, dude, like your data sucks. Like,
Yeah.
there needs to be a need in it. And I, not to steal the show here, but I remember when I first started with David Delaney, we bought this lead enrichment. It's like a lifetime deal. Hey, Shawn, you get 1,000 leads a month, one-time payment of $50, right?
Oh yeah.
God damn, the data sucks. I'm talking about you send it. It's like a 45% accurate data, man. Hey,
Yeah.
we should have hit you up, huh? Okay, so John, just before we move to Autoklose, I'm curious to pick your brain. Lead enrichment is like it's table stakes nowadays. Sales development world, you gotta have it. There's moving parts everywhere. People are constantly moving. They're changing
Yep.
the number for whatever reason. Hey, someone keep calling me. They keep harassing me. My ex is chasing me. I don't know, change the number, whatever. Well, and you don't have to answer it, but like, what are a few insights? Like, how does that work? Validating data.
Yeah. So there's a lot of companies out there doing it. What I would say is make sure you pick a reputable one. You might want to, everyone says, oh, well, I got data for so cheap. Well, cheap data, you'll get the 45% bounce rates. You might as well not, don't buy too cheap data. But the key is to kind of get a sample and see what fields, they provide, and make sure that they do some sort of email validation. There's tools like Zero Bounce, Never Bounce, X Verify. There's a ton of data validation tools. Make sure that they use it, because the last thing you want to do is buy data and buy data that has too high of a bounce rate. A, you're going to waste a lot of money, but B, you're going to ruin your domain, and it could really, really hurt your domain reputation. So you got to be very careful.
Yeah, got it. So we got to, bounce rate is, yeah, it's for the industry standard. I believe I could be wrong, but from what I know, it's 90% or up. That's what you want, right?
Yeah.
Something higher up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go anything any less than that. Shawn, growing up, you still play tennis?
Funny you ask. It's almost like you're reading my mind. I played tennis last Tuesday for the first time in about 4 years, and let me tell you, the technique, the power still there, the stamina was struggling. I was tired after 20 minutes, and I used to have no problem playing for 6 hours a day.
Yeah, no problem. Did you just like slowly getting back into it, or just a little bit here and there?
I'm going to actually start getting back into it. So I'm going to be joining a tennis club and playing every Tuesday. So I'm going to try and play once or twice a week to get back into it. But I was struggling after last week. It took me about 48 hours to recover, and I felt like I was a lot older than I really am. That's for sure.
It's not a problem at all. It happens, right? You get older and you snooze, you lose. But hey,
Yeah.
you're living life. Hey, you just got acquired. I'm just kidding. Shawn, I had like a lot of, because I did some really thorough research on you prior, and I guess some of it just answered the questions too. You mentioned that you have people already lined up ready to buy.
Yes.
Once you roll it out before, and I'm guessing that's because the idea just came out of Exchange Lead, right? Like they've been telling you, and you're like, hey, if I roll this out, will you buy it?
Yep.
Does that make so happen?
Exactly like you said. So what we did for Autoklose was we did that, but one thing I did, and it's anyone that's listening and looking to start a business is a great tip, and it really worked for us. Is when we first started when I came up with the idea, and I met like developers in New York, and we started building it. I actually had emails go out every 2 weeks showing the progress of what we're building. And what this did was over 6 months, when we had our launch day, everyone felt like it'd be like building a condo, and you bought the condo and you're seeing every floor being built in that condo until it's done. By doing this 6 months before, we built an email list of almost 3,000 people. And when we actually had the launch day, everyone came. They just want to see what we've been building. And the best thing is they felt like they built it with us, because they saw the first floor built, the second floor built. We would send them an email saying, hey, we're deciding between building feature A and B. Which one would help your business? Oh, feature A. Okay, perfect. and we actually did surveys. So when we actually built it, not only did they feel like they were building it with us, they were so excited for our launch. Everyone came and everyone supported the launch. And literally we had, at that point, it was just me and one other guy in a boardroom. And I can't even tell you, we were sitting there for 16 hours a day doing demos. I couldn't hire salespeople quick enough. And it slowed down after a while, but we had just packed with demos for the first 4 months when we launched the platform.
Oh, God damn. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay. This is mind blowing for me. So you had a list built prior to it, and then you basically reached out and said, hey, this is what we're building. What should we do? What are your thoughts here? And you're making a two-way conversation while building it at the same time. How does that, how do you guys do that? Were you guys doing it through emails, or how are you guys communicating through the time? Because you guys
I'll email. I'll email. So we gave updates every 2 weeks. It would be like, say you invest in the company for $1,000. Every 2 weeks, that company was giving you an update on how the company's performing. We were doing the same thing with how we were developing. So basically, when we finished one page, we showed them. We finished our website, we showed them. We finished an email feature, we showed them. And they felt like, some of the people actually felt like it was their business because they were so involved with what we were building.
Wow. Damn. Okay, now I have to give you a round of applause for that. This is the first time I ever heard of this kind of approach, and I think that's very strategic and very consultative. It's like you're basically, it's risk free. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, hey, like, there's just like, as a top funnel person, whatever, I sometimes see gaps. Think about these kind of things. Like, hey, what if we were to somehow roll this out? And that kind of approach is very, very, very strategic. Shawn, just to pick your brain here. So, you mentioned ideas. It all starts with ideas, great ideas, right? And so let's say there's someone out there who has an idea and they say, you know what, I found a gap. I want to go ahead and get this type of software built out. What are a few advice or strategies you would have there for that person there? Like, what are next steps? Do they find a CTO? So how do they do that? And then when it comes to getting money built out, like, what's the funding process there? What does that look like? Is there anything you can share with us there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I was lucky. I always find you need to find someone that can complement you. So for example, I was really good in sales, marketing, business development, and the partner I found was actually really good at coding operations. So he was developing operations. So you got to find someone that complements you. If you're a salesperson and you're partnering with another salesperson, it's not going to work because you still need a developer. So try and find someone that complements what you do. Now, funding, we did no funding. We didn't raise any money. We bootstrapped it, but we were very lean. So we were lean the entire way with hiring, with platforms, whatever we did. Every time we made a little bit of money, we kept reinvesting it. So we were never in debt. We were never, had a small runway. We kept reinvesting our money. And ideally what we did was we ended up getting lucky. We got two big, I guess you can call them whale clients. We had one whale client who within our first 3 months, we pretended we were a lot bigger than we are. And he gave me a check for $175,000 for a PO. Now, I didn't even have enough people to do the project. I wasn't even able to do the project, but I'm one of those people that always say, yes, yes, yes. And I'll find a way to get that project done. And it was actually the number one telecom company in Canada. So everyone probably knows who Rogers is. They're biggest in Canada. They're like the AT&T in the US. And what I did was I ended up doing getting a PO, ended up within a week, hired 25 people to help with their project.
Yeah.
Finished the project, and that PO really accelerated our growth. A, it funded exchange leads, but B, we reinvested that money to build Autoklose, and that's how we bootstrapped Autoklose.
Okay, hang on. Apologies on my end. PO, what is that?
Purchase order.
Okay, I know purchase order, but how does that work? I mean, they got a PO from you.
So they gave us a PO for a year for a data project, and we had to do a certain amount of contacts, custom contacts for them for the year. We hired more people, did the project, and we got paid up front for the year. And then after that, I gave us enough money to fund and start hiring people for our business.
Got it. Got it. Okay. And the PO was this was with Autoklose, right?
With
Or
exchange leads.
oh, okay. Okay. This makes sense now. Okay. So taking a step back, they did a PO for exchange lead for data, and then you got the data that they needed verified, and you
Yep.
finished time, and then you're like, okay, cool. Now we got this money, and then you use that money to roll out Autoklose. Autoklose was born. Every money that you guys made, rather than you could just take it and go celebrate, buy all this stuff. You guys reinvest it back into the business to whatever it is to help drive growth and revenue. Is that basically what happened?
I could not say it any better than you did.
Oh, shit, that's great, man. Oh, that's crazy. Well, congratulations. I was like, oh. Shawn, let's talk about product-led growth. This is a huge buzzword nowadays. Even I'm fairly new to it myself. I just heard about like in March, and it's been out there a lot. It's known as this use before you buy. And I believe you guys at Autoklose, you guys took that same approach too as well, right?
Yeah. So are you talking about like how we did a free trial?
Yeah.
People did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to give another tip. And this is a tip I got from the CEO of Drift, David Cancel. Okay.
Yes.
I met him at an event in Toronto, and I asked him a question at the event. And I go, David, I'm giving a free trial. This is when I first started Autoklose for free. What do you recommend? He goes, never give anything for free. I'm like, but we don't have a brand. What do you mean? He goes, charge anything. I'm like, okay. He goes, ask your clients how much they're willing to pay for your software. If they say $20 a month, give it to them. If they say $1 a month, give it to them. He's like, no matter what, you want them to have some sort of credit card on file, even if it's $1, so they're invested. And that's what we did. My first 50 clients that signed up for Autoklose, what I did was I asked them how much. I showed them a demo. I go, how much is this platform worth to you? And whatever number they said, from $1 to $100, whatever number they said, it's yours.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So they could say $2 a month, I'll pay. It's yours. $1 a month. Some of them said 30 a month. I'm like, sure. He goes, well, I should have said 20. I'm like, you want it for 20, it's yours. And the reason why is you want them to, even I was going to give it for free, but you want them to invest. One of the best things I've ever done was listen to David Cancel's advice and not give it for free, because those people that even invest $1 give you feedback worth way more than that $1. And they're what helped us prioritize our features.
Oh, wow. Okay, learning something new here. So what we're hearing is like, if someone's starting out brand new software, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Few initial clients, you want to get them invested. What that means is it's not paying the money, it's not paying the dollars. Get them to use it, to adopt it, and to give you that direct feedback on
exactly
what can be improved, what shouldn't be there, and that's the feedback is what we're after here.
That's it. And you just want them to be invested. You want people using a free trial. You want people paying whatever it is. That could be, as I said, it could be $1. Have them invest something into your platform to get their credit card and your billing information in there.
Got it. Okay, this totally makes sense, because if you were to just give it all free right now, like how it is, those people were just come and go, and they
might not even use it.
Right. Okay,
exactly.
But the first initial one, they invest in it. Hey, how much do you think it's worth, Shawn? Yeah, shit, man, I'll give you $5. All right, cool.
That's it.
Hey, you could improve this. You can improve that.
That's exactly what we did.
Yes, Drew. Okay. Oh man. Okay. All right. Move to the next step here. So let's talk. Let's talk revenue. I'm curious. You guys, so you guys are still friendly, and you guys just got acquired. Like, what were your few strategies to get the name out there and let people know, hey, we're now in the game, you can try us? And how did you differentiate yourself, Autoklose, from other companies?
Yeah, it was a great question. We partnered and did a lot of different, I guess you can call them guerrilla marketing tactics or content marketing tactics with influencers. So what we did was we built a lot of ebooks that we'd have 30 of the top sales influencers involved in the ebook. We would then have them share with their networks, and we kept asking people to share and share and share, and it got a lot of people to visit Autoklose and give us a try. We worked a lot on branding, personal branding. I did a lot of LinkedIn videos, weekly LinkedIn live videos. We do a lot of webinars, a lot of partnerships. Basically, we want to be on all social channels, really driving personal branding. We spend $0 in marketing. We never spent marketing. We never did a pay-per-click ad. We never spent. We had a $0 marketing budget. I just didn't even believe in it. We just always kept going and marketing ourselves, marketing through webinars, marketing through ebooks, and that's what brought all our leads in and helped us increase our revenue.
Oh, that's right. I remember seeing that. I mean, you guys never had a marketing department out, right? No one in marketing, right?
Originally, we didn't. Then we did, but when we had a marketing department, it was more. We had a content writer. We ended up hiring about a year later an SEO person, which I recommend people hiring way earlier than we did because it's one of the most important things we did, but we did it too late. But we hired people. We didn't ever spend money on pay-per-click or Google AdWords or Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads. We spent
Got
$0 in marketing PPC.
Well, that kind of reminds me of Elon Musk and Tesla. They spend $0 on marketing, right? They just reinvest it back into the business to
Exactly.
make the product better. I have to say something, Shawn. I remember when I first I was just like doing these sales engagement platform review walkthroughs, and I did on Foxbound.io, Reply.io, and Autoklose, and by far the best one that has the visualization like tech and SaaS feel was Autoklose. I
I
guarantee you not.
appreciate that.
Yeah, and I mean it sincerely. And I'll say it here. When I did it, the drag and drop was so simple, it was smooth, and then you can just drop the pictures in. What was that part of your philosophy there? Like you want to give it I think I call it UI or UX. No, I think it's UI or something like the image, the way it makes you
Yeah.
feel.
So we originally we had I didn't love we actually ended up hiring somebody to do our UX again.
Yeah.
But one of the things we really focused on from day one was easy use. We
Yeah.
wanted to make our clients, as salespeople in general, they don't want to go in and have to do a lot of things. We want to make it as easy as drag and drop, type the email, press go, and let it run. Plug
Yeah,
and
that's
play.
that's pretty much what it was. Oh man, I remember I signed out on the product layer. I was like, "Damn, this is nice. It feels
Yeah.
nice. It looks nice." And I'll be dead on. Like, if there's a brand new SDR and BDR who just got into the tech game and like, oh yeah, I'm in tech now, and it's the first time they ever see like a sales engagement platform and they use like Autoklose and see how simplified it is, that would like give it like the ultimate wow experience, I believe, on my end. Um, Kudos to you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Uh,
Thank you.
Shawn, so acquisition. God, and this is why I'm really having excited to have you on, because you just got acquired. Congratulations, by the way. I'm fairly new to learning when it comes to things like getting acquired. Like, you still have to deliver on your promise on your back end for the board or whatever until you guys can, like, I don't know, call it cash out or something. Um, I just want to pick your brain a little bit. Like, when when a company gets acquired, what typically happens? How does it slowly emerge? Does it Autoklose later just disappear? VanillaSoft icon comes on. What does you know?
Great question.
Yeah.
So we actually didn't have much of a break. So we're still auto close on September 30th, and then October 1st, the company was acquired. I think that one of the biggest challenges is merging the two companies and really letting the auto close team know, because we had to keep it quiet for a very long time. So we only let them know about a week before, which was tough because I was really close with everyone. But it's still, we're 9 months in and we're still kind of merging and getting one familiar with each other. It takes a lot of time. But going through the acquisition, it's ups and downs. Our acquisition took about 11 months. So it was back and forth negotiating. But we didn't have a cash out. So we ended up doing an equity cash deal. So we ended up getting some equity inside VanillaSoft, as well as we got cash up front. And there's some that they hold for a year, just to make sure that everything you told them during the due diligence process is still intact and you weren't lying about anything. So it's a long process. We ended up we were fortunate that David at VanillaSoft, the CEO, was A great guy to work with. It was very easy to have conversations with. We met a few times, but it takes time. It takes time to adjust to a new product, new culture, the way they do things, new processes. It all we're still learning today, and we're almost a year in.
Got it. Okay. Okay. This is really exciting to me. And the reason why is because when my most previous role at Better Growth, I was actually subject to one of the other companies. I was tasked to with another company that was from across the globe who provided a solution that fixes with acquisition and stuff like that in terms of alignment. I'm curious to pick your brain in your end, as a leader at Autoklose. So normally what happens from what I understand is once a company gets acquired, they break the news. Hey guys, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
We got acquired, but a lot of them always, all of them ask themselves they're like, oh, damn, what's going to happen to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you approach that? What's the strategy there to let them know that, because most of them would be like, oh shit, yeah, I might be out. Yeah, I got to start looking around.
Yeah.
How do you tackle retention?
So we from the beginning made sure that everyone knew that this was a good opportunity for them as well, for personal growth, etc. So what we did was we laid out that personal growth plan. So this is your position today. We were a 25-person company. We're getting acquired by a company that already has 75 people. There's a lot more job opportunity. There's 2 product lines you can sell. So we show them all the different things that will be benefiting from this acquisition, made sure they understood that. But the one thing we did from the beginning was made sure we made sure that everyone's job was secure. So part of my negotiation with VanillaSoft was that I wanted to make sure my entire team and no one got fired.
Wow. Congratulations. Well, Shawn Finder, just like Ralph Barcy, you do not believe in head counts. You believe in heart counts.
Exactly.
That's what real leaders do. Hey, look, you want to acquire my company? You got to throw this in the mix. None of them are getting fired or getting let go.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm sure right after that, once you make that message across the board and they know for a fact that it's going to be okay. Did morality internally boost up more? Like they're more like a family. Like they treat each other more.
It was a roller coaster. I mean, early on, it was a lot of change for everyone. They felt like we were still considered 2 product lines. We were being treated differently. But as time goes on, now we become one big team. Where early on I said we did have some difficulty, but now everything takes time. And as I said, an acquisition takes time. Nothing happens overnight. I've learned that. So you just got to give it some time and continue to build your culture. And if the culture is the right fit, everyone will get accustomed to that new culture.
Yeah. Curious to pick your brain real quick again one more time on this one. So here we have Autoklose, we have VanillaSoft. So you now have 2 sales team that you need to squish into one like a sandwich. And sometimes they're like, no, we do things this way. The other one's like, no, we do things that way. Like, how do you guys attack that?
Great question. We're still in the middle of attacking that. So right now it's still 2 product lines, 2 different sales teams.
Yeah.
But the goal in Q4 of this year we met last week, is to try and consolidate more of the teams. So it's definitely something that we need to do, but it definitely hasn't happened yet. With everything with integrations of the platforms, the development platforms, moving people into different positions, so much going on, but that's something we need to tackle the end of this year.
Got it. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Shawn. I appreciate you. Shawn, after this, what's next for you?
Great question. So I do, there is equity on the table with VanillaSoft. So right now I'm still at VanillaSoft. So it's an 18-month contract after the acquisition, a minimum. The plan is not to leave, because, the goal is, especially for their CEO who gambled on us. I want to make sure that we help them out. So our founding team is there. We're happy. And we're trying to grow the company so that they can have a successful exit or whatever is next for them as well. So that's that. But I'm sure at some point when the time is right, I'll be right back into the entrepreneurial mindset again and doing the same thing a few more times in my life. But I would say for the next year or two, I'm still not. I'm not there yet, but maybe some smaller tools, but nothing too big. At least for the next few years.
Oh man, how exciting! How exciting! Can't wait to see what that looks like. Okay, Shawn, I know we booked ourselves for an hour, but I just want to time check real quick. How are we doing on time on our end? Just to double check with you.
Oh, we're good. We're good. Yeah.
Okay. Just a few more questions I just want to pick your brain on. So you as a leader, you're a sales professional, you came from the finance side, made a jump, entered the world of unknown, and you found a need, and then success breeds success. Here comes exchange lead,
Yeah.
bam, to gamble, got a huge purchase order, right? Rogers, bam, oh snap, let's get this project done. You could have just, hey, look,
Yeah.
whatever, go out, mess around, party, celebrate, blow the whole cash, whatever. But instead, you like, hey, man, let's just bootstrap this. Bam, roll it out. So that being said, you are a sales professional, a sales leader, someone who's been in the game for a very long
Yep.
time, and I'm sure you've interviewed many, many, many sales professionals. When it comes to looking for, let's say to someone to bring on the team, right? A sales professional, maybe an AE or an SDR. What kind of characteristics do you look for?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. One, I look for someone that's played a competitive sport. So I look for somebody that's played basketball, tennis, golf, anything. Two, on an interview, I make sure they're coachable. And three, which you're going to ask me why, is I look for somebody that, if I can, that has worked at a bank.
Okay. Why bank?
You ready?
Yeah.
And this is the reason. The banks give you the best training out of any industry company in the world. If you go to a bank, they teach you how to cold call, they teach you how to do everything, and they pay for it. So when you get that person, you don't have to pay for the coaching and a lot of the stuff. It's already been done. So I always look for somebody that might have been a teller, might have worked something at the bank, because I know they've been trained properly, because the banks train the best employees.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Okay. I have to say something too. I love that. No, I really do. But what kind of sucks too that I see in the tech world, there's a lot of people in like the banking, field, when they try to make a horizontal jump into tech too, it's kind of hard for them. I interviewed someone not too long ago about that
Yep.
too, and we talked about, like, he's from Wells Fargo. Like, they teach them how to code call and stuff like that. But I guess maybe that's just a tech scene, but or maybe because Autoklose is different, right? One love. Oh man. Shawn, I want to pick your brain on this one too one more time, real quick, just before we go with this one. Talk about coachable. You train them. That's like the number one trait I think it's on for like all sales roles. You got to be coachable. Is this guy coachable?
Yep.
Because if he's the lone wolf, he's gonna say, "Screw this, man. Sorry, Shawn. I don't need you. See ya." How do you test them on the phone when it comes to being coachable?
I just like to see how people react when you give them feedback or you give them advice. Do they listen to your advice, or they just go their own way? So somebody that's coachable will listen more than they'll talk. So when I'm telling somebody, I think you should try this, they will actually go and try it. So I always look at that, and you can kind of tell a person's personality on an interview. So typically within the first 5 minutes of an interview, I can tell if a person's coachable or not, just by listening to how they respond. When I ask the question, how they respond to the question. Do they ask me questions? Are they listening to me, or are they texting while they're on the interview? There's different things that I can look at to see how coachable somebody is.
Oh, wow. Okay. You can actually feel and see and hear and know it, right?
Exactly.
Like whether
Yep.
they're sitting down or talking, or maybe they're standing up and talking. And
Exactly.
okay. All right. So let's just to wrap this up here. Shawn, if there's anyone out there who, has an idea, right? Got an idea. There's a huge gap here. It needs to be solved. They want to roll out a SaaS company, what kind of advice would you have for that individual? How would they get started? And what are a few things they got to look out for?
The best thing I would do is, if you have an idea, just try it out. Build some sort of MVP, do some sort of survey. Don't quit your job right away unless you know that it's going to work. And what I did, I'll just tell the audience what I did was, I built my first company, Exchange Leads, I was building while I was working for a year. And what I said was, when I quit my day job, I have 5 months of money in the bank that I can pay my rent, pay for food, and give it a go. So I gave myself 5 months from day one to launch and get profitable with Exchange Leads. And I recommend everyone do that. Don't just quit your job and say, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. Test it out. And when the time is right, that's when you take the leap. And I took the leap. I took the leap when I made my first $50 with Exchange Leads. I took the leap, but I knew in my mind it was going to work.
Wow. Fantastic. 5 months out, capital, runway, risk taker, rule breaker, no risk, no reward. Okay.
Exactly.
Was that when you left the bank job?
That was when I started the director of sales role. I was working there. I was paying my development. So the only salary I had was my developer out in Eastern Europe, and he developed the product. I knew it wasn't ready to sell yet, but when it was day one, I sold my first thing for $50. And I quit my 6-figure job for $50 and said to myself, I have 5 months to grow it.
Oh, $50.
$50.
5 zeros. 5 zeros a vegetable. All right. Well, Shawn, this has been great. We thank you so much for coming on the One Up Sales Development podcast to share some insights on revenue and how to start a SaaS business if you ever had an idea. If there's anyone out there who wants to reach out to you and say thank you, what's the best way to do so?
Many ways. So LinkedIn, add me as a connection on LinkedIn. You can find me as Shawn Finder. Email me if you'd like, Shawn@autoklose.com, SHAWN@autoklose with a K.com. If you have any question about sales, hiring, product-led growth, anything whatsoever, email me, LinkedIn me. I'm more than happy to help.
There it is. Shawn Finder, everyone. Thank you, Shawn, for coming on in. And thanks again for coming on the One Up Sales Development podcast.